Sky Outdoors, powered by Town Pump, fueling your next outdoor adventure, is also brought to you by Counter Assault, your ultimate protection in the wild. Montana Army Navy, get it, get out, and live it. McKenzie River Pizza, the best pie in the big sky. Bob Ward's, everything outdoors, Montana style. Glacier Real Estate, your real estate connection to Northwest Montana. And the Outdoor Report is provided by Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
Hi and welcome to this week's edition of Big Sky Outdoors. I'm Matt Redding along with Joel Stevenson, and today we're at Basecamp Bigfork with Mark Shirkey. And Mark, what are we doing today?
To start out, well, we're going to be mushing some sled dogs here, and this morning we'll get the kids out, have some fun with them, and then the three of us are going to go winter camping. So we'll be hooking up a couple teams, and off we'll go.
Sweet, let's do it.
All right. This is our 7th season doing dog sled tours. Things that we do a little differently here than most dog sled outfits is we actually let people mush the teams themselves. So it's more of a hands-on dog sled experience. We also work with Inuit dogs, which are a very rare northern breed. Very few people have ever heard of Inuit dogs, let alone seen one before. Trying to preserve them as a working breed. They don't want to see these dogs become household pets or become bred just to look pretty on the runway in a show arena, things like that. So, you know, keeping them as a working kennel, keeping them living as a pack-oriented dog. You know, we don't chain our dogs up here. It's something that we take a lot of pride in, you know, having a smaller kennel so that we can kind of give more attention to our dogs and allow them to live, you know, as I call them, free-range sled dogs, you know, a life free from chains, because, you know, when they're not pulling, they're not just stuck on the end of a 6-foot line. You know, they're able to kind of intermingle. And with our kennel, not only are the pens a nice size, but we also have this perimeter fencing where they can get out and run around. We have 18 dogs here, and they kind of vary in ages, everything from the puppies to the adult retired dogs. We'll let them out. We'll start with these couple puppies, and they're always happy to see everybody. And they're all really friendly. You know, it's a neat thing about this breed is that they have a connection to humans that goes back thousands of years. All right, here they come. So that's what it looks like from the back side of the sled. You got your brake. You want to get used to using that. You got your handlebar, you know, making sure you're always holding on. If there's tree branches along the way, you know, either ducking behind or covering up yourself. And then again, helping the dogs out when you have to. The dogs in the back are typically your strongest. They're your wheel dogs. The dogs in the middle are then called your swing dogs. And then your dogs out front are your lead dogs. So we typically run a 6-dog team. Sometimes when the snow's deeper, we might bump it up to 8 or something, but okay, ready dogs? You just hop on the runners. Ready, hop. Hop, 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 hop. Hop, hop, hop. Hop, hop, hop. People give the dog some loving, or we stop and have a drink or a meal, and then the dogs lay down and you kind of see how they just mellow out a bit. These group-style trips, it's fun for people because the grandparents that live here and the kids and grandkids visiting, and so some are wanting to mush, some want to just hang out by the fire, some might want to try the skis and snowshoes. The art of dog sledding, I would say, is there's a balance between wanting enough power to pull you at a speed that you want to go, but then also having the ability to control that power, because you'll find the trails sometimes are quite icy. Oh man, this has changed like 24 hours. Or maybe they are really deep, so you're always kind of having to adjust for that. So every day, it's a different story. There's really no steering involved with dog sledding as much as it is tracking. So, leaning your weight from side to side to get the sled to go a direction, or keeping the gang line tight, it will keep you on the trail.
Ready, dogs? Ready, dogs? Up, up.
And then hit that brake as hard as you can.
That was so much fun. That was crazy.
Good job.
Big Sky Outdoors is brought to you locally by your Montana Honda dealers and by Parkside Credit Union.
Go ahead. Ask. Parkside Credit Union. We like to say yes.
Since 1953, Town Pump has proudly served our communities as Montana's best convenience store. Town Pump offers a huge selection on all your favorite products, and we're always expanding to meet your needs. Town Pump is here to serve your community, so come visit Montana's best convenience store today.
Glacier Real Estate understands why you live, work, and play in Northwest Montana. Let Tim Gravel and Kenyon Matheson help you buy or sell your next piece of the Montana dream. Call Tim or Kenyon of Glacier Real Estate today.
It's a little bit longer than what we had this morning, and it can hold more gear, but essentially there's certain items you got to bring, whether it's a one-day trip or a multi-day trip, and along a bucket so we can get water for the dogs. I've seen a lot of trips. Kind of finish it off. Basically in here I keep first aid kits, spare parts, if something were to break, things like that on the sled or the gang line, gloves and down jacket, all that kind of good stuff that you might end up needing out there. That we'll leave on top. So that's one cool thing about getting out with the dogs, is that you can bring maybe items that you would typically take out when you're camping on your own, where you're carrying all that weight. So Wiggy's is a company in Colorado, so these are made in the US. It's the most bomber, warmest sleeping bag that money can buy. It's what people use to go to places like the North Pole and so on. And if you wanted to take the skis, you can lay them in here even and have this kind of covered up. All right, so who's it gonna be? Do these three again. Come on, buddy. Oh, good girl. Traveling through the series of beaver dams, being that it's so warm, some of them have flooded up and over the ponds and so on, so we're kind of bone picking our way through here with the sled dogs in this soft, wet snow. So let's see how it goes. We got another beaver dam. These are old beaver dams that have just kind of been here for who knows how long, but they make for some fun dog sledding terrain. Areas that you don't normally go and explore much in the summertime, because it means bushwhacking through, chest-high grass and beaver stank and all that. So you get out here in the winter and yeah, you can really explore.
They call me Nanook. So Mark, I know it's getting later in the day. We got to find a place to camp. What do you look for?
A lot of people do wait too long in the day to find a campsite, and there's a lot to do in a sense, especially when you do have the dogs. So I like to usually try to get into a place where I want to camp about an hour before things get dark. And all right, and I think we'll find a spot that makes the most sense right in this little zone to, carve out our little spot for the night. It's nice to, especially with the dogs, to be maybe near a source of water. So sometimes we're camping near the river, sometimes maybe on a frozen lake where we're able to punch a hole through the ice. Some cases you just want to find areas where, maybe like here, where you got some nice clean snow rather than in the trees where it's all pine needles and things, if you haven't had fresh snow lately. And same thing with the dogs, because not only do we need to get water for ourselves, but we want to get the dogs watered. So it's nice, they don't necessarily need that boiled, so we can maybe dip that out of the creek or something like that. I enjoy places where, one, you might get a good view. Along with that, maybe where, if it's a cold night, you might want to take advantage of the last rays of sun. So maybe camping where the sun's going to shine the longest. But also keeping in mind the next morning where you might want to camp where the sun's going to hit you first thing, But I do enjoy being maybe right on the edge of where the trees maybe meet a more open area, an area that's maybe open enough and flat enough where you can set up kitchen and, snowshoe and pack down a campsite.
There we go.
Always looking for firewood, even if I'm within the last, half a mile of our campsite. I started looking for firewood because you're not always going to find wood where you're going to be camping, and you might want to know where that's at. So things like that make all the difference. And usually I tell folks too, when you're coming into camp, it's a good idea to try to let your body air out a little bit. If you're on the sled, unzip your jacket, let some of that perspiration air out, because as this sun drops, the temperature will definitely go to the bones, and if you're wet, you'll feel it. So getting changed out into some dry clothes, things like that right away is important.
Army-Navy is your hunting headquarters. It's the best place around when you're serious about saving money on the things you need to go hunting. Knife sharpeners, wool gloves, backpacking meals, optics, socks, boots, insoles, stoves. Why, it's a virtual hunter's checklist. All name brands and all at fantastic savings. On Highway 2 in Evergreen and Highway 93 in Whitefish. MontanaArmyNavy.com.
Get out and live it.
This birch bark takes off pretty quick, and we'll just add some littles to it as we can. Know enough about the wood you're burning to know it's white gas is kind of the only way to go, because propane will freeze up on you underneath the crust. Yeah, with winter camping, because you can bring things that you wouldn't typically maybe bring when you're camping, like frozen foods, meats, veggies, and all that good stuff. What we're having tonight here is a chili, and I just pre-made this. So we do supplement their diet with raw meat, but on the camping trips, just to keep it easier to pack and things, we do the kibble. Hey Enzo, there, we didn't forget you, buddy. These are dogs that are outside every day, so they have to eat and consume more calories just for being outside, you know. They all love the pre-bedtime rub downs and everything, you know. You can tell they appreciate it, so, and it lets them know you enjoy what they're doing for you out there on the trail. Hey dogs, you want to howl with me? Just crawling out of bed and kind of getting things started in camp. Typically the fire and coffee is first on the agenda, but sounds like everybody had a good night's sleep, but it wasn't too cold out. You know, I would say you know, today's looking like it's going to be a little warm out as well, but we've been having fun. So here's to camp breakfast coming ahead. Fried bagels, got some smoked salmon, cream cheese, and some bacon, so nice hearty breakfast. Stuff. Yeah. You're a good boy, Enzo. You're a good boy.
Big Sky Country, you have some big road trips, and nothing's better than being behind the wheel of a Honda with real-time all-wheel drive. Honda HR-V, Pilot, and CR-V keep you safe with Honda Lane Watch and connected with Honda Link. For all the things you're into, an all-wheel drive Honda CR-V can be yours with low lease and finance rates, making it the perfect ride for Montana. See your Montana Honda dealer today.
Glacier Real Estate understands why you live, work, and play in Northwest Montana, that Tim Gravel and Kenyon Matheson help you buy or sell your next piece of the Montana dream. Call Tim or Kenyon of Glacier Real Estate today.
Here's this week's outdoor report by our friends at Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
It's a real eye-opener, you know. We didn't think it was going to be coming this hard and this fast.
Biologist Ryan Williamson is concerned at the amount of Conservation Reserve Program, or CRP lands, being turned into crops.
The CRP payments right now just can't compete with the farming, you know, in the grand scheme of things. You can't really blame the farmers.
CRP is a federal program that pays farmers to keep their land and grasses. At its peak in the early 2000s, Montana had almost 3.5 million acres of CRP. But through program cutbacks and high commodity prices, today, Montana has about half of that, a loss that will have long-term consequences for wildlife.
it's their house and home. A lot of these areas, that's the only really wildlife cover we have is the CRP. Once that's gone, it's gone, and that wildlife basically gets displaced and eventually contributes to the overall loss in the population.
Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks, through their Open Fields program, is trying to provide an additional incentive to keep landowners interested in CRP.
We offer an incentive payment or an access payment on top of their CRP payment, hopefully to entice them to either stay into CRP or to enroll land into CRP.
And while Open Fields has kept a few lands in CRP, Williamson warns those heading out next fall may see a very different landscape. I'm Winston Greeley, out among Montana's fish, wildlife, and parks.
Dog sledding obviously is what we do, and what's neat about that is the fact that it could cater to the most high-end adventurers out there and then everyday people who just want to get out and do something fun on a winter day with their family. So from our half-day trips, we do also group trips. Those are great options for people that want to maybe invest a whole day or even the multi-day thing like we're doing here with the camping. So as far as that goes, you know, getting out, everybody gets the same introduction, meets the dogs, learns about the breed, and learns what it takes to mush a sled.
And then hit that brake as hard as you can.
Up, 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 up.
So that's, I think, one thing that sets our business aside from a lot of dog sled outfits is that we're actually letting people mush the dogs themselves. So it is this hands-on. They can help harness the team, things like that. We actually encourage that people interact with our dogs. You know, we don't want it to be this, you know, hey, stay away. You know, we want you to let them know that they're being appreciated and that kind of thing. You know, the Swan Range is kind of what makes our backdrop for most of our trips. The larger mountain range there, the more dominant mountain range, I should say, in our area here, and one of the longest mountain ranges in the lower 48 states that has no roads going through it. And the Mission Mountains basically die right off in the back of our property. So right here, yeah, so we do a lot of dog sledding early season up on Crane Mountain, you know, places throughout the Swan Valley or the foothills of the Swans here too. So.
Well, Mark, we had a great trip. It was a great night out camping underneath the stars. We had a beautiful evening. Chili was great. The breakfast this morning was awesome. The dogs behaved themselves. Yeah. It was a little wet, but hey, that's the woods for you. So we had a great time. So if anyone wants to get out and go dog sledding with you guys, what do they need to do?
Sure. They basically just give us a call or find us online at basecampbigfork.com. We also have a shop in Bigfork that we operate in the summer months, so we're year-round here with Basecamp Bigfork. We want to get you out there having fun outdoors.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for the trip. We had a blast.
No doubt. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Hey, well, join us next week on Big Sky Outdoors for more adventures.